Hey all, so here once more talking to the void. This time we're going back into the realm of TV a little bit more, or it's kind of TV if it's only on streaming service. I mean, I guess it's a show with episodes, so I guess the boundaries are getting a little nebulous there. Anyway, talking about the Netflix original show, Midnight Mass. Written and directed by my boy Mike Flanagan. Always a treat. Now, I'm a big fan of his work, as I've said numerous times throughout these. I haven't actually sat down to rewatch some of his other shows, so reviews for them are coming at some point, but I just want to rewatch them before. It gives me an excuse. Anyway, Midnight Mass. Now, you might see down to the thing that I actually threw a year into this, which should be 2021, which I tend to do on anything that is not something originally under that title. And that's because I actually do have a movie in my collection, also called Midnight Mass, completely unrelated, from several years ago. Very low budget. Interesting, but not what I'd call great. That was a 2003 movie. Yeah, not a very good one. Anyway, this one, however, very good. Really like it. It's short for a series, about 7 episodes, but each episode is about an hour long. So we get, but taking in smaller, manageable chunks works over really well. Anyway, it's a bit of a slower burn, and Mike Flanagan's tendency to have his characters monologue a bit is in full force here. So as long as you're prepared for that, it's going to be there throughout the whole series here. So be prepared. But oddly, in a way, that kind of makes the biblical sermonizing seem to almost fit a little bit in this one, as well, it's religious-esque monologues, but in horror-esque format. Anyway, the show's got a cool atmosphere, and I don't really know exactly what's considered common knowledge for it, so I'm probably going to end up being a little bit more vague than I usually would otherwise. Let's see. But one of the official things gives me a little something to go on at least, so I'll kind of go off of that. So, centers around a small island community that's our boy Riley is one of our main characters, but really the whole town effectively is the main character, so it's kind of hard to pick and choose, but he's one of our initial focuses. Riley, who's returning to the island after several years away, after being convicted of, well, essentially, he, while driving drunk, accidentally got a young girl killed. So he's been away in prison for a while and is just coming back. He's reconnecting with an old flame who is now pregnant, and as well as his estranged family. Meanwhile, the church is also going under a little bit of a revival as a new priest has taken over since Monsignor Pruitt, their original priest, went to the mainland but apparently fell ill, and so our new father is here to essentially fill in for him in the meantime. And the town seems to begin to slowly be going under essentially a bit of renewal as things seem to be slowly getting better for many people. But at the same time, there's still an ominous presence about why things are starting to change and how things aren't necessarily going so well for some of the town's more marginalized residents. So, I will say the acting of this it's brilliant. It's very good, and there's a lot of surprises along the way that I didn't see coming. It is a little bit slow at the get-go, and some of the payoffs, while good, for me didn't go quite far enough. There's one character that was particularly odious throughout the whole series, whose comeuppance was fine, but I really wanted to see her get a bit more. If you'll know who I'm talking about if you watch any of it, but you just want to shake this lady. But at the end of it, well, some justice is done there. it's one of those things where you wish you would have I don't know, gotten a little bit more. I don't want to say twist the knife on her a little bit more because that's not exactly right, but her just desserts seemed a little lacking, I will say. The effects in this are generally very good. The creature effects definitely work. There's a bit of overuse of CG, which is kind of standard, particularly on some of the blood. But when they are doing the practical effects, they are working well. The CG itself isn't that bad. It's just occasionally when things are getting very bloody, it's a bit obvious. But the main star here is the characters' interactions and how they're playing off each other, particularly while celebrating the renewals and helping each other through their miseries. So, even without the supernatural element, this would be a very well done drama. But overall, it holds together very solidly. For me, I'm giving this one a solid, I'd say 8 MacGuffins. It's not perfect, can be a bit slow, especially in the beginning, but it ramps up and ramps up beautifully. Overall, I found it very enjoyable. That's the thing with a series this good, where you don't want to give away too much. My review ends up being a little shorter, so kind of a yardstick there. If it's a short review, it usually means either don't have much to talk about, which usually means it's something better, or it's really good. This one's really good. 8 MacGuffins, definitely check it out. 7 episodes, definitely worth your time. Alright, have a good night, everybody.